Hello everyone, my name is Arpit and welcome to the show called Talk About It. And the question still is, why don't we? Why don't we talk about a million things that go through our minds every day? So to take the conversation further, today's guest is Mrs. Vinita Khushal. Mrs. Vinita Khushal is one of the top family lawyers in Australia. She's been practicing law for over 32 years now. She owns her own legal practice and she's also the president of Global Organization of People of Indian Origin, that is GOPIO.
Well, I think we Indians are quite resourceful, aren't we?
Yeah.
And hard work is never is something that we don't shy from. We take our responsibilities quite seriously. Motherhood is something that we make a decision, an informed choice on. And once we have children, then we put everything else in perspective with how we're going to handle it. It is amazing how we forget that us as parents are role models, and they children will duplicate what we say and do. And how many times have you, I mean, you're too young at the moment, but when you become parents and you're telling your kid off, if you stop and think, you are reciting exactly what your parents said to you. You know, yeah. How many times have I told you not to do that?
Because we've learned that.
And I remember the first time I said that to my son, he looked at me and he said, "Mom, 5 times." And I thought, what? And I realized that what he was saying was exactly what I'd asked him.
Exactly. And you didn't expect that.
And I became a bit more careful about what I said to them and how I said that to them, you know. And we as parents need to change the pattern sometimes for the benefit of the children. We can't scream and yell at them.
You know, it just hampers the confidence of the child.
Yeah.
And how he's feeling at that moment, that might decide something that's going to happen later in his life.
Exactly.
Because the consequences can be really bad.
One of the other things that I do is I'm what they call an independent children's lawyer in the courts and a separate representative in the state court system. That means I get appointed by the courts to be involved with families where there's child abuse or a conflict between the parents about how much time the child is to spend with their parents. And I come across this issue of mental health, personality disorders, and how kids are raised and what's good for them. So, I mean, I'm no expert in that area, but I come across that's something I deal with on a day-on, day-off basis. And it's really important how, when you talk to a parent, how they present, and you see the children and the array of issues that they present, like ADHD, criminal behavior, swearing, sexualized behavior. It all is very reflective of the parents and their inability to manage their own emotions. So we as parents have to be very careful about how we present to kids. If we yell at them all the time, you can't expect them to be calm, quiet kids. Mental health used to be classified as madness when we were growing up. So if somebody was depressed or somebody was schizophrenic or had anxiety or panic attacks, we just classified them as being mad. And nobody wanted to accept the fact that they were mad, because the consequence was that you'd end up in a pagal khana somewhere, you know. And that was the biggest stigma that was attached to that. And so if you were related to anybody who had mental health or were children of that kind of family, everyone kept away from you. You could have people having bipolar who are very high functioning and have got a family and they think they're doing fine, they're managing everything. But if you ask the children how mom's coping, they'll say, "Mom's not coping. Mom screams at us. We don't like her. We don't want to be around her because she's just so unmanageable." Everyone in that family will not talk about it. They will try and suppress it. They'll manage indoors. In my practice, I I see what happens behind closed doors, and I know what's happening there. So, look at the way Australia deals with it. You get stress leave, you get parental leave, you get leave on compassionate grounds. These things help you realize, or it gives you the opportunity of saying, yeah, if I don't feel like going to work today because I'm really overwhelmed, it's okay for me to say, I want to stop. Whereas from where I come from, and I'm sure that's all of the third world country, you feel pressured to go to work. You can't be seen to be weakening. You are not, you have to be strong. Otherwise somebody's just in your shoulder, willing to push you over. To weaken.
In countries like that, we can never say that, oh, I'm feeling depressed.
Oh, this is stressful.
To work. They'll be like, oh, will you be able to work after this, after today? We're not sure, so just stay at home.
Thank you very much. So it's really things have to change at every level for us to be able to speak about it openly, because where our income is at stake, we will not be able to talk about it. The problem is also the fact that we think, if we go to see a therapist, there's something wrong with us. The other issue is sometimes we don't feel like talking to somebody, right?
But there is something wrong with us. It's like something wrong. There is something wrong with your head. That's why you're getting a headache, and that's why you go see a GP. So there is something wrong going on in your mental health.
Absolutely.
And that's why you need to go see a GP or
So if your friends around you say something you're not yourself, you should realize that there's something that is happening around you that's not normal, or you should just be able to self-evaluate that, hey, 2 years ago I used to do this, and this, why can't I do it now? Especially before it comes to the stage where our self-worth is so low that we start thinking of ending our lives. Or
what I feel is, even if it is for attention seeking, I think people should realize that it's a cry for help. That person is actually going through something, and he or she is not able to talk about it.
That's right.
So this is their way of communicating that I'm not okay.
Absolutely.
And people around should be able to recognize that and then go and help that person in any way possible.
When someone is not conforming to the way you think, oh, he's odd, or he's attention seeking. And that's where empathy comes in, is why is your friend all of a sudden not meeting up with you? Why is he not taking part in the group activities that we are doing? What can you do? You should be able to call them up and say, hey, how are you going? Are you okay? What's happening? And they might say, oh, nothing's wrong. Or they might tell you a whole heap of things. Be ready to accept it and listen and give him the options. Sometimes just being that friend who listens can make a difference. And it's very important. You don't have to resolve everybody's problems. You just need to be either a good listener or pass that information on to people who can help him. It was great that when I was in New Zealand, I had a group of friends that I could rely on. They were there for the long haul. They themselves had problems, and we all managed it.
Still there in your life?
Oh yeah, once my husband.
So talking about social media, how seriously you look at it as being a factor towards rising mental health?
Absolutely, especially in my area of family law, where every affidavit that's filed will contain at least 2 to 10 pages of text messages, Facebook posts, whatever else they can come up with. And it's always, he said this and she said this. And
so that is a part of evidence.
Evidence, yeah. Oh, look, he's posting this about me on the thing. Or he gave an undertaking to the court that he won't say this, but hey, look at his Facebook. And then he will say, oh, she's stalking me on Facebook. And
the court accepts Facebook and everything?
Well, the court says I should ban you guys from getting on Facebook but the tension is, it creates so much tension. It creates so much problems. People just can't help themselves but put things on Facebook that relates to their life, and obviously the other person sees it. And sometimes I get this feeling that they're doing it because they know that I've got this now new boyfriend who's 6 foot tall and full of muscles, or here's my new girlfriend who's 16 years old and gorgeous and not...
They just want to show up and make the previous one
jealous.
Right?
Yeah. So it's used to that extent. Also sometimes, depending on...
And it affects that ex's mental health.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's the motive.
That's the motive,
But
yeah.
It's so bad.
It's so bad, yeah. And people get so caught up in that. And I keep saying to them, why are you looking at it?
Then,
I didn't look at it. A friend of that posted it to me or sent it to me.
Exactly. And then it becomes a war.
Yeah. I would like to discuss is the effect of parental mental health on their children and how it affects their development. The studies have shown that where a parent is not emotionally available to a child in their development stages, can have impact on them. It even can impact on a child while they are in vitro, so before they are even born. So mom's health, mental health, her depression levels, her anxiety levels, all impact on a child, on a baby while it's growing in the womb. We put a lot of pressure on them doing household work or delivering very fair babies. I don't know, a whole heap of things that go on. We ignore moms. We don't focus on moms. We are so focused on the baby's coming. No one thinks about mom. Yeah. How many times when a baby is born, everyone comes with presents, bearing presents for the baby. No one brings anything for the mom. There might be some flowers, but no presents for mom. And I remember my mother walking in the door after my baby was born, carrying a bowl of fruit, and she said, "Beta, this is for you." And I stopped and I thought, what? And then she said, "Nobody thinks about you. You need to be fed. You need to be looked after. Here's something for you." And I just took a step back and I thought, oh wow,
that's actually true.
Somebody is thinking about me rather than the baby, because everybody's like baby. Their anxiety rubs off on the child. We know that depression and anxiety causes people to withdraw in themselves because they were so overwhelmed by their own thoughts that they are not capable of giving the love and the nurturing to another child. And the child basically grows in an environment where there's no interaction. Babies constantly need that interaction. If they don't bounce off you as a mother, then they have some developmental issues, and we need to be mindful of that. The other part of the problem that we have is where parents have major issues like bipolar, like schizophrenia, whether it's because of some genetical disposition that they have, or whether it's alcohol and drug abuse or whatever. The problem with these parents who have severe depression and cannot parent the child is that the role of the child and parent interchange. That means all of a sudden, instead of the parent parenting, it's the child parenting the parent. And that's quite an abusive situation to be in, because kids should be free. Kids should be able to socialize. They should play. They should be able to grow. All that is denied to a child who is parentified. Statistics show that where one parent has got mental health issues, there's a 70% chance of this child having a personality disorder or a low-level depression or anxiety as they grow 70%. Older, 70%. If they have the other parent is very supportive, that percentage is reduced enormously, right? So if mom is not well, but dad's very supportive, dad knows, dad takes care of the parenting role and keeps the children being a child, then that's in a way leveled off. If you have a child whose both parents have got mental health issues, depression or even low-level mental health issues, there's a 40% chance that this child will have a major mental health issue as he grows up. So the thing is, as parents, we need to give them the opportunity to explore their surroundings, know that they can do anything, be a child, play, express themselves. We can't be helicopter parents. We can't be guiding them through their life. And that's what I'm saying, is that sometimes it just takes someone to help us think of things in a different way to overcome things. We are so caught up in this thing, hey, I'm going to university. If I don't pass, then that's the end of my life. Take a break. Sometimes just taking a break helps you. Go get a job, do something, and then go back to studies.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to finish your bachelor's, you have to finish your master's, then you have to figure out what you want to do in life.
Yeah. No, then you get married, and then you'll find you a woman. You can't have a social life in the meantime.
Yeah. And then by the time you realize that you missed out on a lot of things, you're 40, 45. And
with 2 kids, and you can't do some stupid things like you want.
You can't go backpacking, or you can't go clubbing, and then you think, oh, I should have done that. Yeah.
So as parents, we are responsible for a lot. We need to ease off. We need to realize that the children of this generation think differently. They have different options. Getting it out there or talking to somebody about it, it doesn't mean that you publicize it. It just means that if you talk to somebody can help you think this through, give you the help you need. And we are lucky that we are in Australia, where we've got organizations like Beyond Blue and Headspace.
Black Dog and
That was a lovely discussion, Mrs. Vinita. Thank you so much. Parenting can have a serious impact on a child's mental development. Over 75% of mental health problems start before the age of 25. That is a serious topic. This is a serious issue, and we need to talk about that. For more such discussions, please stay tuned. Please like, share and subscribe. And if you have any such topic that you would like us to discuss, please comment below. Please donate whatever little you can so that we can continue making such videos. Thank you.